Hello, friends. Patrick here. It's Friday afternoon, April 16th, evening, afternoon, something like that. Had two conversations with people today who I've never talked to about the Niagara real estate market. It was great. We talked about sort of the core fundamentals that are going on underneath all these numbers. What is driving what's happening? And we talked about where the market has been in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. What it was like going back to when I was a 6-year-old boy in 1978. The average annual increase in sale price in Niagara going back that far has been between 5.5%. But that doesn't tell us where we're going in the future, right? So what do we see coming down the pipe for that? And the core fundamentals behind the market, what's driving these things that are going on as far as the pricing and the supply and the demand and days in the market, all that kind of stuff. So just going to run through a quick bit of numbers with you. All right, let's do it. We've talked in the past a bunch of times about the impact that COVID has on the overall should I move or not mindset. We've done blogs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that still carries through to this day. This shows you the number of new listings for Niagara going back on a monthly basis, going back to January 2020. And you can see the impact that COVID had back in April 2020. And you can see what's happening right now. It's been a wonky wooden back-breaking roller coaster as we've gone over the last 16 months or so. As we've gone through this, it's really been something else. This shows you St. Catharines, and then after that I'll show you Niagara Falls as well. Similar trends. The reason we look at St. Catharines and Niagara Falls in particular, the two largest volume cities for all of Niagara, and they're a fair representation of what you're going to see across the board, whether it's Fort Erie, Port Colborne, Niagara Lake to some extent, Thorold, Welland, et cetera, et cetera. So that shows you the monthly new listings. So let's put that up against the number of sales, and you'll see this shows you the Niagara region, number of monthly sales going back to January 2020, and you can see where the sales and the new listings lines flipped places not long ago when we had that really heated market at the turn of 2021. And now you can see a little bit of tapering off. So I'll say those April numbers that you see there, and this is St. Catharines here, show you that's April on pace for. So basically we're halfway through the month right now. So if you took a daily rate plus or minus a few, that's what April's on pace for. Big asterisk with that, this is Niagara Falls here showing you the same thing. Big asterisk with that is the lockdown that was just announced. Is that going to further impinge, I think that's the word, the number of new listings, the inventory, because that's only going to cause greater problems unless the buyer demand pulls back in lockstep with that. But in the past, we've not seen that happen. So we shall see. So that shows you, again, new listings against sales monthly going forward. So what's driving... what's the end result of that new listing and sale relationship? And that is driving, to some extent, is driving pricing, because we've talked about it a ton, right? How sales demand has been up here and new listing inventory has been down here, and the impact that's having on average sale prices. So this shows you the average sale price going back monthly for the Niagara region. Going back to January, you can see how huge a change we've had in the last 6 months in average sale prices. And you'll see that in a minute. I'll show you slides for all of Niagara. This shows you St. Catharines, same thing, average sale price monthly going back to January 2020. And then lastly, this shows you Niagara Falls, same deal, right? So huge average sale price changes that nobody expected. Year to date in general across the board, we're up around 22-24% year to date over the total annual for 2020 average sale price for all of Niagara. So what's driving that? And it's not just one segment of the market. In general, all segments of the market have lifted up. But one big driver is the $1 million plus bracket of the market, which is doing things that we've never seen it do before. So we're going to go through that very quickly with you. What is going on with pricing? What's driving these average sale prices to be so high? And there's a whole bunch of different angles you can take at it. You can look at. In general, yes, everything has come up in price. And with that, the $1 million plus end of the market has absolutely exploded. And I think if you looked at Niagara region as a whole, Niagara Lake, Grimsby, St. Catharines, Fonthill, Niagara Falls, now they all have a bigger piece of pie in the average number the total number of sales over $1 million. So this graph here shows you the Niagara region going back a few years and how many sales over $1 million happen in a given year. Niagara 2021 for Niagara is on pace for 900 to 1,000 sales for the whole year of 2021. That's what it's on pace for, which is astonishing given that 2 years ago, in 2019, there was 185, and last year there was 425 in 2020 for the whole year. Year to date, we're already at about 283, I believe it is, as of right now, April 16th. So we're already in second place, right? So this year is going to be an enormous year. So that pulls the numbers right up. And then historically, Niagara-on-the-Lake had the $1 million plus market in a headlock. They controlled the game for the most part, but now it's diversified and it's spread out. So you can see here, this shows you city by city where the distribution, you can see Niagara-on-the-Lake is still first place, but there's other players in the game. Now you have Grimsby with 46 sales year to date. And then Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, and Fonthill all in the 30s, 32, 36, 38, somewhere in that vicinity. And it spreads right across, all the way across Niagara. So now again, when you look at the individual cities' average sale price, now they have this many sales over $1 million as opposed to this many, and that's only going to pull that overall average up, right? So that's what we're seeing across the board in terms of pricing. But again, there's more homes being sold in the 6s and 7s and 8s, but that $1 million price bracket is doing things that it's surprising everybody, put it that way. The thing that's tricky with pricing, and we continue to see it now, is you will see, say you pick 10 random listings on realtor.ca, and you pull them up and you say, well, there's that one at $499, that one at $5.25, that one at $489, that's at $515. The average sale price, though, in general across the board is 105, 110% of asking price. So when you see a house that's $5.25, the problem is that house that sells at $575, or the house that's at $549 that sells at $650, or the house that's $475. You get the point. It's tough to make sense of pricing out there. So there is list price and there's sale price, and they have never been more different than they are today here in April 2021. I forgot the year for a second. That's good. So what's happening though right now, year to date across Niagara? Year to date, Niagara region as a whole, the average sale price is at $683,000. That's up 23% over the 2020 average. April on its own in Niagara, for the Niagara region, the average sale price is $711,000, which is astonishing. I've been in this business for 17, 18 years, whatever it is. That's incredible to even say those words. Then as far as all the individual cities, there's really 4 different categories of city right now as far as sale prices go. First one, you have Welland, is sitting on its own at $551,000 year to date. April is sitting around $545,000. It's up about 22% year to date over 2020. So that's category 1. Category 2, there's 4 cities in the 600,000 range: St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, Thorold, Fort Erie. Actually, Port Colborne's in there too. My apologies. So St. Catharines, 617,000 year to date, and the April average at 643,000. Again, that's up 24% over 2020. Niagara Falls, 643,000 year to date, 684,000 in April alone. And again, up 24%. A whole bunch of the cities were up 22, 23, 24% year to date, which is, if that's stuck, would be the highest average annual increase in the history of all time, even more than 4 years ago. Thorold, year to date, 622,000. April at 617,000, and again up 24%. Fort Erie up 623,000 year to date, and that's at 610,000 for the month of April. And again, that's up 22% year to date as well. Average sale price, the third category, the heavier hitters, I guess you could call it. You have 3 cities up in the 800s: Fonthill, Grimsby, and then Lincoln. So Beamsville, Jordan, Vineland. So Fonthill year to date is at $885,000. April 2021, the average sale price in Fonthill at $923,000. But again, remember, you can have smaller volume markets that don't have as many homes change hands, and you can have a few sales that skew the numbers. But still, $885,000, that's up 17% over last year. Grimsby, $810,000 year to date. $889,000 for the month of April. So again, a huge April in Grimsby, and they're up 20% year to date. Lincoln, so again, Vineland, Jordan, Beamsville, up 24% year to date to 813,000. And again, a big month of April, 875,000 for the average. And then the fourth category, the big hitter, Niagara Lake, the perennial number one as far as average sale price goes. 1.185 million for the month of April, but 1.116 year to date. Niagara Lake's never cracked $1 million for an annual average sale price. That is going to happen in 2021. Unless something significant happens, but it's on pace. It's going to be over $1 million for the first time ever, and that's up 16% over 2020. Where do we go from here? What's out down the track? Another 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. What can we expect over this summer, spring market, whatever it's going to be? If there's one thing the last 6 months have shown us is the impact that weak inventory against strong demand has. It is right back to high school economics, and that is escalating pricing. When you look at the last 30 days in Niagara, the average sale price across the entire board was about 106, 107% of asking. There was 1,143 sales in the last 30 days. So all of those sales, on average, sold for 105, 106, 107%, somewhere in there, of asking. So that's not outliers, right? That's not a blip. That is where things are at right now. And that is a direct relation to there's 4 seats at the table and there's 7 people trying to sit down. You get the analogy. So the impact that this latest stay-at-home order is going to have, because remember, you've got people that are in the middle of a move right now. You've got people that have sold and they haven't found somewhere. So there's still buyers that haven't finished what they've started as a seller. You've got people that are moving because of work. You have divorce, death, estate sales, all kinds of stuff that still happens regardless of lockdown. So there's still churn happening in the market. And so that direct impact of not enough inventory is having the direct relation or correlation to that is the pricing that we're seeing to a large extent, right? And more people from different markets interacting in the Niagara housing market. And that's the reality of things. Until we get out from under this COVID business and all the people that talked about selling back 2 years ago that were just pushed down and waited and made to wait and wait and wait. I guess we'll wait another month. I guess we'll wait till the spring. I guess we'll wait till next spring. All those people that have been talking about it that haven't, once we can get to some kind of normal and we see that inventory start to come online, then we'll see a market that might take a year, might take 2 years to sort of find its footing. That will happen, but until we get there, we still have some work to do, particularly as we see these numbers of 105, 107, 108% of asking month after month after month after month, which I can tell you historically has never happened, not for this duration of time. So that is the antithesis or the antidote to these pricing numbers that I've shown you is an improvement in inventory and it finding its equilibrium. Hopefully this has helped. As I say repeatedly, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out and chat. Happy to do so. I'll put my number right there. And of course, on our website, you can find all of our info as well. Otherwise, hope you're truly doing well. This is a tough run right now. I've talked to a lot of people that I know and care a lot about. And I know I said this in my previous video, and it's still happening, that are finding this a bit of a challenge right now. So by all means, if you want to reach out and chat with us or friends or family or whatever, we'll get through this. We are going to, because that's what we do. But it's a challenge, that's for sure. Hopefully you're doing well. And again, if we can help in any capacity, we're here. Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye.